Uh, Nowadays, dinner table conversation at a tier two, tier one India is, Shark Tank, startups. It's become mainstream. Everyone talks about startups like today in 2022, but 5 years back, 7 years back, 10 years back, situation wasn't that great. It wasn't mainstream. A lot of students who ended up trying entrepreneurship or challengers. Now it's the status quo. Everyone aims to be that. So to complete 10 years and to start at a time when it wasn't looked up to, I think so. Kudos to you and congratulations, you and Sanjeev. The panel, I'd prefer we can keep it free flowing and not too corporate. If I would like to add like other panels, we're at a startup event. We have to keep it casual. So firstly, just would like to hear quick thoughts about what are the current digital transformation trends driving your industry. We all come from different backgrounds: tech, product, investment, human capital. Just broad thoughts about what current trends in your industry do you see, like digital transformation. Would you like to start?
Yeah, thank you. So, I run a fund called JSW Ventures. We are a early stage tech investor in startups. So I'm neither a client of Animesh or a potential client, nor a solution, nor a partner. And I think they have enough money to even look for an investor now. So I don't know what role I'm going to play here. But yeah, I was the early admirer of this team, and the current product they have, I invested in them in the previous two versions of the product, which hasn't done well. So, but I knew this team is building something really strong, and that thesis is now proven. After 10 years, you have built a great product, great team, and the partners you have brought on the table. So, great achievement, both Sanjeev and Animesh. Now, from the digitization perspective, we invest in SaaS. SaaS is one of our theses. What we're seeing is the enterprise SaaS is becoming a major or is now a mainstream product for large enterprise. Earlier, what we used to see, the large players, vertical, large horizontal players, big corporations used to play an important role in the digitization. Now it is no more limited to the large technology solution providers. It is actually going down to the SaaS products. So in India, we have about 1,200 SaaS startups. My estimate is about 800 to 900 are focused on enterprise and the balance on SMBs. In the enterprise, we are seeing these SaaS startups across the verticals, whether it is human resources, whether it is marketing automation, whether it is logistics. And the first part of it is, of course, to automate the processes. But the next level of the SaaS startups are all, looking forward for the AI-driven solutions for the clients. And that is the trend which we are seeing it. Though not many startups are fully geared or equipped to do it, and that is where I think the role of E42 comes in terms of facilitating that transition towards the AI through the basic products which they have developed over a period of time. So that I'm seeing is a big change in the industry now.
Yeah. First of all, Sanjeev and Animesh, congratulations for your 10 years of milestone. We are engaged since 5 to 6 years. I know we started with a conversational bot, kind of FAQ kind of bot initially. And then we are looking for conversation AI kind of things. And when we met Animesh and Sanjeev, okay, and we then launched NLP. Recently, I'm proudly saying, recently we migrated on E42. It is very mature. Frankly, I can't say it is a bot. It is a kind of platform where you can run RPS. Okay, that is what we are getting those benefit. Coming back to what is digital transformation at Mahindra. Yes, Mahindra has signed 2 big contracts, one with SAP, RISE with SAP. Because SAP is always known for monolithic application. So we want to modernize. And that is why we bought those BTP platform, wherein we will modernize SAP. And apart from that, now we have a huge data center. One strategy is to cloud first. So we are moving SAP on cloud. That is what one project is going on. Second is about modernization of non-SAP bespoke applications. So we decided to move on GCP. That is the second contract we signed with Google. Okay, and in that thing, we are not only moving those applications, because right now those applications on VM base. So we are containerize those applications whenever possible. We are using microservices and moving on the SAP Google. That is the second digitization transformation is going on. Third is analytics. We are using SAP BW as an enterprise data warehouse, but we are bought Google BigQuery, and kind of first time we are initiating that data lake preparation, and not only the structural data, but again unstructured data, where we want to mesh those data and give some intelligence analytics. That is what the target, and we are moving on that journey. Apart from that, with the new normal, security is very much important. So we bought some of the security product and implementing those as well. So this is what about current Mahindra digital transformation journey.
Priyadarshini, would you like to pick it up?
Hi all. I'm not going to sound very techie kind of things. I'm not a technology person. So I don't know how much of my pointers would be so interesting to you, but I'll try to surely make it interesting from the customer perspective. So whatever I'm going to talk, most ofly about the stories about it, because most of you who are into the technology side or whatever the business side of it, what it matters is down the line to the human life, where is it making a difference? So that is what I just wanted to set the background. So but coming back to where UltraTech Cement is using AI, we are using it at various areas. I'm now going to speak about the technology. A simple example. Right now, all of you are sitting in this, kind of a hall made out of cement and steel. Imagine if there would have been a 1% issue with the technology, with the quality of cement or a steel, what would have happened? And this seems to be an old building, right? So that matters in case of a cement when we manufacture. The flyovers which we are going, by the way, all the metros, 100% is UltraTech Cement. Imagine that metro falls down because of the cement is not of a good quality. What would happen to you all, we all together? So just imagine. But do you know where the AI helps us? In our laboratories, quality testing is being done by the robots. And the quality testing in cement is like kind of a 50 kg bag. But imagine we need nothing less than 10 million bags just to create a small kind of a bridge, not even a flyover. So the number of bags you can see, and every bag cement has to be tested, and it has to be the best of the quality because it affects your and my life safety. So that is where we are using AI. The second example, the way I said, I'm just going to talk only about the stories and the examples. UltraTech lives in the way we say India lives in villages, UltraTech lives in the remotest of the areas. So we have acres and acres of mines area because we have done a backward integration where we do our own limestone. So the story is about, when we talk about the mines is not some few acres or few hectares, it's into the lakhs and lakhs of hectares. And yes, UltraTech is the leader not only in India but across the globe we are the second. So we are very large. So in those mines, when we extract limestone, we have to do a blasting, okay? It's an underground mine, then you do a blasting, a limestone comes out. So when we do blasting, how do you know that in such a large area, there is suddenly some movement happening around, any live thing coming around into the mines area, and what if they die? It's not about the human life. When I talk about it, it's pride factor, we talk about a biodiversity. So we have lions, tigers, we have wild boars, serpentines, I don't have to talk about it. All these people, they are part of UltraTech. So how do we ensure that if I'm going to do the blasting, people, I can always say, okay, there's a horn going on, don't go into the area, and we seal everything, fine, done. What about these kind of things? They are equally a part of UltraTech, they are equally a part of us, all of us. So the drone cameras which are there, they sense every kind of a movement happening in that mines area, and there goes a trigger. So we ensure that when we are doing blasting, we are not hurting any of the lives. So I just told you two examples where we are using AI to the greater extent. And I am so happy and thankful to all of you, Rider, all the techies sitting over there to help us out to not only do our business in a premium way, because yes, we charge a huge premium on our cement, and also allow the biodiversity to be retained very well across UltraTech. So thanks to all of you, each one of you sitting here. So this is where you people make a difference to the lives of so many.
Thanks, Neeraj.
Some of our techie joined Aditya Birla Group recently.
Ravi, would you like to add, please?
Very good evening, everyone. See, I come from a technology background and completely opposite to what you said. But coming from a technology background, but I had an opportunity to work with developing a software for HR and employees. So the connect is with the human beings. Like it's more a technology is what people look at it. But HR, when we look at HR in 2000, in 2005, 2010, 2015 and 2020 and 2022, there's a lot of transformation happen actually. So always, initially when we started, it was looked like a system of records or something like to automated attendance, mundane things like. So that's the background in what the software was developed. But over a period of time, the systems got adopted and put in center of the organization, where the employee significance was given more to the employee, the focus was given more to the employee. That's where the significance of technology slowly started to come in actually. Because if you have to build data which is like secure, safe, and also like accessible anytime, and more reliable, you need to have a solid technology as a background, because it's an employee data. It's not something a joke. It's an important and serious thing. So that's the first thing what we did as a digital transformation, where you secure your data, you can access your data, you can bring it anytime you want and in any device you want. That's the first level of transformation happen. But talking about digital transformation, my understanding, people most of the time mistake with change with transformation. Change is something what it always people carry traces of what it was there in the past. But transformation is something completely moving away from the past actually. So if you look at the current system, if you look at the model in what we are living today in this world, we ourselves are getting transformed. The food what we order, the cab what we take, whatever you use, the music what you listen, the videos what you watch, already AI is there actually. Like you are not even must have not even realized that AI is already part of your life now, living with you now. It's already there. So it's a special case, maybe discuss about what application has used it. But we also have to understand that we already going through that. Google is listening as we talk. Netflix listens to your interests. Amazon Music listens. Alexa is listening. So AI is already playing. So my understanding when it comes to AI and digital transformation, a lot of things are happening, and positive vibes have got generated. And I would not like to use the word called automation here, because it's more a resource augmentation, because efficiency is more coming out more and more. It is not the automation which is coming. The efficiency is what building up, actually, using of AI. So in my experience, I'm looking at implementing solutions for other organizations. There are a lot of change happening in the other side of the, because the expectations also varies now. When it comes to digital solution, what they want, what they expect is like the tech, while AI is most exploited, word like AI, everyone talks about AI. The real application of AI, when it comes to a platform like E42, the real use case is Animesh, thanks to the wonderful platform you people have built in. And our customers have leveraged a lot on what has been built. So that's the experience what I would like to share.
Thanks a lot, Ravi. I'd like to build up on that. As you said, earlier there was change, but now as you're talking about transformation, what would, I'd like to start with Sanjay sir, you first, currently, what do you think is driving that digital transformation? We've seen earlier a lot of corporates were adopting to technologies, then COVID forced a lot of people working from home. There'll be a lot of various factors in the industry currently, great resignation, as you said, someone moved, but it's a movement, right? And it's observed across the world. And I'm sure someone from Aditya Birla must have moved to Mahindra, the other way around. So what are some of the factors that you see in your industry because of which it's getting accelerated?
So first of all, that pandemic, after end of the pandemic, we can't say end, but whatever the situation or environment currently is having, so industries are putting extra efforts, okay, to adopt this new normal, to stay big, to stay competitive. That is the first part. Second, to match this kind of environment, because there is a huge competition, again, the hookah word, what we see everywhere. So they have to, and it is a need of hour, so they have to redevelop their entire digital landscape. Plus, company will have to reinvent their operation in entire ecosystem, right from acquisition of new customer, their operations, their sales, their port services. So these are the factor, frankly speaking, they are contributing for digital transformation. Apart from that, we are looking at that high attrition. Definitely, it is matter a lot. Plus, good part is there is a huge investment done by big technology vendor like Google, even IBM, and making those powerful to a product, means a powerful cloud where a huge competition power is there available right now. Plus startup like Light Info System, they are coming up with this kind of platform which are rightly matured platform. So this all contribute for digital transformation.
That's a very specific point that you raised. Would definitely like to hear from Sachin. I'm sure he's betting on such startups who are driving all these digital transformation changes. Like we've seen like in terms of AI or like even in fintech, we've seen waves like earlier, like starting from 2015, there was a wave of all payment startup, then lending startups came about. Now all well-tech startups, as we see, and investment platforms are coming about. And then a constant SaaS influx of startups who are driving all these major changes in such enterprises. How do you see going them? Like, what are some of the factors based on which the startups are, betting on, and you're willing to put your money on such innovators?
What we are seeing is it is no more one of the agenda items of a CEO or a promoter. It is the agenda item to drive the digital transformation in every organization. Earlier, there used to be the allocation of budgets. Now it is no more starting with the allocation that I have 1-2%. It starts with what are the changes we want to bring in. Which department, which function need what kind of a digitization, automation, AI, and then it is starting from a board level to a CEO level to the functional head level. So to me, that is the biggest change which we have seen. Second, I think in the large enterprises, the risk taking was a bit limited earlier. In the sense they wanted to go with the experienced vendors, large vendors. Now that risk has come in, they all wanting to take some test with these early stage startups, people who have, who are able to prove ROI to a large organization. The large corporates are ready to take those risks, which earlier was probably missing in the chain. One thing which I still see a challenge is the sales cycles of, in an enterprise is still 4 to 6 months, 7 months in a best case scenario, which to me is still a challenge in the industry, which I think over a period of time we will probably even cross that part. Because till now, first of course, there is a POC pilot which happens. Then unfortunately it goes to the sourcing or team to negotiate with the SaaS suppliers or SaaS vendors, which to me is still a big bottleneck for startups to grow or drive the digital agenda in a large corporation. But yes, I see there is a huge change which has happened. It is only going to accelerate further and not going to come down. Yeah.
Sure. A lot of supply chain financing startups, a lot of HR tech startups like digital transformation, not only in terms of your daily processes, but how can you make your employees' lives better? Like all your payday startups who customers used to go out and they individually used to take that loan. Now, like I'm seeing a lot of companies adopt, within the salary, how can you incorporate such features where it's easier for the customers, like for their employees as well. Ravi, would you like to add, like, what are some of the key factors that you see are driving and like would accelerate digital transformation?
See, you touched upon the subject, the great resignation. Like, the employee retention has become one of the biggest subject. When it comes to AI and the upskilling and reskilling has been widely focused in organizations today, because retention, no more salaries. Of course, the money increment is one area where employees are getting paid, but other area where the involvement and the commitment to be brought in, and also the curiosity to come to office or work from home or wherever, getting connected. So I see that it is more implemented on reskilling and upskilling, where the personalization coming in based on the individual's experience, the interest, what level of training should go in, what level of attention, what a person or interest, what he or she requires is where the interest. Because I'm more talking from the experience what we have gathered in the recent implementation of solutions. To
Ravi, what would you say, like, why is AI is at the center of this transformation? And if you could elaborate like a couple of points.
Yeah, because see, when these end of the day, like when we deliver a solution and the solution comes as a screen to the end user, it shows that a person A requires 1, 2, 3, or person B requires solution. But the heavy lifting is done in the background by the AI engine. If that is not there, the output is not going to come at all. So where I'm coming from is when we talk about AI in today's world, it is more of AI is in artificial narrow intelligence, which is more of pattern recognition. The neural part is still, work is going on. The deep learning part is still happening. But today it is more of pattern recognition based on the pattern of the data which has been collected. The system is having the intelligence to interpret and identify the pattern and throw up some intelligence saying that this is what a person. And the accuracy levels are very high today. And that's the heavy lifting what is getting done by the AI today now.
Thanks.
I will add some point over here. That current, if you look at AI, it is really over the period it is matured, and it is maturing over that neural part. Definitely, deep learning and things will come on the stage. But democratization of AI that has taken place. Okay, and it will make that AI is on center on digital transformation, because as I said, big companies like Google, they Google or AWS or IBM. They're spending like anything on that AI platform, and for example, they are giving some kind of computational powers, okay, on cloud, even pre-built AI, that also coming up very heavily. And these things, not only enterprise level, means big organization will not get those AI, but even consumer can build their AI application. That's the journey is starting, and that is why AI is taking a center place in digital transformation.
I would just like to state something from a very simple perspective. I know they stated something very apt from the industry perspective, technology perspective. A simple thing, as humans, all of us sitting over here, what do we every day look out for ourselves? We look out for how do we keep on evolving ourselves? How do I enrich my life? How do I ease out my life? How do I democratize myself? That is what we are looking out for as humans. And that's why we are humans. We call ourselves superior creatures over the rest of the creatures there in the universe. And because we would like to evolve ourselves, and I think that is what actually makes AI important for the digital transformation. That's what my comes to. And obviously, let me state that with the story. The story says is that when Sanjeev has made this chatbot for us, Usha, what has Usha done for us? Just some few statistics to share, as you also stated about the chatbox. We have close to 5 lakhs queries being asked to Usha. We have 80% of our employees. When I say Ultratech, yes, it's a bigger organization. You can understand the number of employees. We are talking about 80% employees have experienced Usha. We have 70% retention of the employees who have visited Usha for more than 2 to 3 times. So this is what, if we are talking about, what do people want? They want an empowerment, okay? They want an ease of the life. But now let us look at how does the business benefit. So that is why the AI is here. How does the business benefit? Or we have been talking about HR. Although I am a HR person, generally I don't like to speak too much about HR. So let me see from the different perspective is that when Usha is answering 5 lakhs queries, imagine those queries would have been asked to my HR team members across. Just imagine 5 lakhs queries to HR team members. What they do that whole day. If somebody has been in HR, they will agree with me that half the day goes just in answering queries. So if I may convert that into statistics, we go on saving 17 man days per month thanks to Usha of my HR team members. When I talk about the 17 man-days of a one particular unit, we have 52 units, by the way. So you can just multiply that and you look at it. And if somebody's from the business side sitting, you know, one man-day savings is how important for the business from the productivity. I don't want to calculate money. Tomorrow, Sanjeev's contract is about to get renewed. He will add to it. So I'm not going to speak further to that.
I'd like to like keeping it on a lighter note. Like I'd like to touch upon. Do you see like the quote unquote scary part of AI? Facebook shut its AI program when they were speaking to each other. Elon Musk has his own say. Do you think like just keep throwing it out, thinking out loud? Do you see any negatives or any pitfalls or anything that we should be scared of or be worried about? Ravi, would you start? Or?
Yeah. See, any system will have a pros and cons. Like that is forgiven. Like AI, as we talk, like there are many advantages. Like what Priyadarshini said, there is an employee experience also getting improved. Like because I need not. It's a 24/7 bot. I can ask the HR anytime. Like, but when it comes to safety and other things, most important thing is like when you're sharing the data about personal information. Be conscious about what you're sharing, because those are the information which leads to other repercussions, other complications. So you have to be conscious about that. So that's the one area which I would like to caution here. And whenever something is popping up and asking for information, be conscious that some engine is watching you or something like you are monitored actually.
You asked on a lighter note, okay? Yeah. So I'll share a lighter experience. Imagine our chatbot Usha. We have some of our employees, obviously when we are there in the remotest area, vernacular, medium students, employees over there, they will say, Usha ji, aap kaise hai? They still, after interacting with the bot, they feel as if they're talking to somebody, Usha ji, aap kaise hai? Then some of the employees, just now Neeraj was sharing with me, is that they ask, Usha ji, aap kahan rehti? What is your address? So in case... So this is what happens. I see the flaw side of it otherwise.
If anyone has seen the movie Her, was it Her? Joaquin Phoenix, yeah. Like, you should watch it, and that's the only scary part that I could think of. Sanjay sir, you want to...
There are so many advantages, no doubt about it. And we talked about advantages, but when we are talking about digital resource, it is a digital employee available 24/7. That's what we saw at our industry. So and we gave some name to those digital resources, okay, frankly speaking, and they are managing our support activity day and night. But pitfall, yes, there are pitfall. So small company thinks investing and building those AI solution is a costly affair, but there are definitely long-term benefits associated. You can get better ROI. Humanly, if you look at from human perspective, humans are become lazy. There is a fear of unemployment. Second, out-of-box thinking is lacking because of AI. These are some pitfalls. But if you look at those pitfalls, are from humanly natures because of human. If you can combine the output of AI, just generally AI gives those insight, okay, it can be coupled with human emotion, their out-of-box thinking, then definitely you will get benefit of AI. That is what I always think. Secondly, in Mahindra, what we thought, we are using one mantra for AI kind of application or RPA kind of application. This technology is not for replacing human being. It is augmenting human efforts. That's what we promote there, and that is why we are getting success at least for implementing those all automation product. That's all.
We saw how account payables and account receivables folks might soon get replaced by AI. But as he said, like it's more about embedding the employee along with and assisting him to make it much better.
Extension to that, because we also developed some of the automated solution, and because of that, definitely previously there were so many people, now we reduce. But we are not replaced. Now those people are doing really good work.
Correct.
When we are talking about that inspections, smart inspections using computer visualization. So now those inspectors, they are being experts, they are skillful people. So they are now part of our design department. They are analyzing whatever the pitfall or error out of that inspection, and they are correcting that product. That is what the transformation is taking place from people point of view. Yep.
Sachin, I'd like to pose a different question to you. Like, I'm sure over the last so many years you've seen, and something, a lot of startups that I've seen the guilty of is you make an algorithm and you call yourself an AI ML startup. And like, I'm sure, but like, say over the last decade and the coming decade, I'm sure like you've encountered n number of pitches where startup have claimed to be, AI, ML and doing all sort of things. But when you just boil it down or drill it down, it's just few algorithms or few data points that you're using to predict the process. How have you seen the startup community evolve over the last decade, and like, what can you share some recent anecdotes, or like what something like the AI or SaaS, or like what's the current innovation in this industry?
As you rightly said, every deck we see in a SaaS space has a AI or ML mentioned it. There is no deck which we have seen which is without AI or ML. But unfortunately, or fortunately, some people have started really getting into it, and this process, as he mentioned, needs investment. It is not easy for a startup to develop. First, of course, they need a data. Then they need a storage, managing it, computing power. All of it, is now coming together of a sort. Now, it is becoming little easier for a startup to actually develop their own AI, ML processes, which was not possible 5 years ago, or it was too expensive to do it. So there is a change happening in the industry, and it is a real change. Whenever these transformations happened, of course, people use the advantage of these nomenclatures and try to sell things. But as a user, I think the technology leaders or digital transformation leaders have a good understanding of what a real AI, ML, deep learning means, and they are taking decision based on that. But yeah, this transformation is happening, and it is happening fast now.
Neeraj, I'll just pop in between because when he was giving example, you asked about startup. Today morning, one of my friends, they are having a startup called thought-provoking. I had introduced Sanjeev to them, and what they are into is that I met Sangeeta just now. I liked her earrings. I actually liked her earrings, and I was looking at her. All that I have to do is just click a picture of that and just put it up. And there you will get not only the similar earrings, but also the earrings. I mean, all the ladies down over there, I think you all must have been happy. So they just entered into this startup, Trove, and that they are developing into it. I was like surprised. I was very happy. I said, good, something coming up. So a lot of startups coming up into it, and I think as ladies, we will be furthermore happy because our shopping experiences also could be much happier and easier, and also house management. I'm looking out for that kind of startup who can help me in house management. That will be another good idea. So Sanjeev, start thinking about it. How can we?
Maybe as more like, I'm sure like the women participation in an economy and employment, it's up on the rise, and it'll be more about both the partners balancing the household work. So probably that's the next segment to look out for. Ravi, do you think AI works better in silos, or is there benefit in allowing AI worker to share the info?
It's better to share the AI info to the AI worker to the info, because see, silos, we all know the difficulties of silos, working in something in silos. It is not going to create an ecosystem, or the system is not going to fall in place. So I would say that AI co-worker or a worker which is coming in, so that will bridge many gaps, that will create a very stronger system, and bring in more transparency and also intelligence and promptness and attention to details. All these things will be like more when it comes to AI and other aspects of the solutioning part of it, actually. Okay. That's what I think.
Okay. Now coming to our last point, which
I want to share a story. Please. Very important. So again, just to tell you all how you people make a difference. I had an employee after we had launched Usha, or after around a year or so. Employee called me up early morning, and he was almost in tears, and he said, "Madam, thank you." I didn't know that employee. We are a larger organization. He said, thank you so much, madam. Like, I am indebted to you. What happened? I said, thanks to Usha madam. Convey my thanks to Usha madam also. What happened? So here goes the story. He was on a deputation to another location. His family then went to his wife. She went to her in-laws' place as the husband was away for a month or so. There, the child happens to be, he fell down. Child was hurt very badly. As she had traveled to her in-laws' house, she didn't have so much of money she had carried. So she had to search out for a hospital which is cashless hospital. At that time, in the night, 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, he is in some another occasion, in-laws there, they also must be telling her, okay, you didn't take care of the child, she's under trauma. All she did that, she asked Usha, she has to just put in the pin code of the area and you get a complete list of hospitals which will treat that particular incidents, and also the cashless hospitals. And also the Mediclaim card came in within a second. I mean, it takes less than 30 seconds, am I right? And the card is there because husband is somewhere else. And it helped her out. She took the child was treated well, no money spent. And this is where, when you talked about the AI collaboration, Usha today collaborates, I mean, she doesn't work just on our server. Usha goes out of our server. Sanjeev, I recollect, we had a sleepless nights fighting with the this Mediclaim people, and we access their server. And then from their servers, this data flows in. Because if any one of you have ever taken Mediclaim, the cashless hospital today converts into non-cashless tomorrow. So it's just not humanly possible, it's very, very difficult. It's a serious thing. So finally, we earn money, all of us sitting here slogging whole day for what? For family, for safety, food, basic things. And if Usha can give this kind of a safety to my employee, then why not? And that is how the AI has collaborated, going beyond our organization and saved many of my employees' life. Thanks to you, Sanjeev, and convey
Round
this
of
thanks
applause
to
for you for it
Vikrant.
and the products that they've built.
He's not there here, right? Vikrant is the one. We keep on fighting along with him all the time. Tell him I did take his name for all the trouble we have given. Okay, Vikrant, you're here. Great. Thank you. So you heard the story, and I must have, all the kind of fightings we have must have got squared off.
My last question to all the panel members. What's the craziest possibility of a digitally transformed enterprise that you could think of? Feel free to run with your imagination. Anyone can volunteer to go first.
Would you like to go?
Ask me a tough question.
It's no one can be wrong here. We just predict. We can take it up from the audience as well. I'll wait. I'll let me point it to Animesh.
Holding the mic all the time.
No, Animesh, I think so. You doesn't even need a mic. Would you like to just think of any answer?
So I think one of the possibilities that we spoke with some folks at Gartner also, and they were also, when we told them our story, they straight away said, man, what will happen if hundreds of these AI workers of yours in one industry start hiring and firing people at their own whim, at their own fancy? Because the AI will decide this is good, and you can't you can't program AI, right? You can't write code there. So what will happen then? So that's one thought. Yeah.
There was a movie I don't remember. I don't remember the name of the movie. So the AI Minority Report. The AI could predict that you're going to do a crime in future. So police will lock you up even before you've done
There's
that.
one thing I can challenge which AI cannot do, is it cannot be a mother. A crying child, when mother lifts it and takes it close to the heart, the child stops crying. This is one thing AI can never ever replace.
They're all hearing us. Like they'll challenge accepted.
So the craziest thing, maybe like in the transform, like another 1 decade later, maybe not decade, even 2-3 years later, people may not know whether they're talking to real human. There could be some robots walking in the office, look like a real human. Maybe some people may be proposing to some, thinking that is a woman or a boy. Like, wow. It may not be a real human. Like, no, it may be something. That's what I feel, because we already started to hear that there are stores where they already deployed robo on these stores, where it watches the customer walking in, identifies the age group what he or she belongs to, then it goes and looks out for the profile on the social media, then picks up the information from there, and then analyzes like what are the interests of that person and displays the watch or the
I don't know if I'm excited or scared.
So that's the kind of a story which has already happened now. So imagine 2 years, 3 years down the line, anyone walking in the office may not be a real human. Actually, it could be anything else. That's what the craziest thing coming in my mind.
Wow. Any parting notes, thoughts, or
I think one crazy thing for me would be when the number of digital employees are more than the number of actual employees in a company.
From my side, I need to wait for Rajnikant next movie. Then I'll answer this question. but apart from that, I'm looking from automobile point of view. AI will play a major role in automobile. You can say the digital twin. Right now, there is if you ask me how much investment is going on, it's relatively small, $4 billion. Okay, but by 2025, what we estimate around $36 billion will be invested on digital twin, so that we can simulate product process simultaneously. Second part is on process part. There are deep learning. So there is a huge investment. So we can really make our processes, our operations, like maintenance operation, using deep learning, very efficient. Intelligence RPA will come along with process and task mining. So we can automate minute. So there are so many human, even we are talking about automation, still human angle is there. So that things will come. And I'm looking as when we are paying parking, so from dashboard we can pay the park fees. Wow, that also can happen. That is what I think. I think AI will play a major role in automobile industry. Yes.
There are few people predicting that humans won't be driving the car in a couple of decades, or like I don't know how many years, because there's so many hundreds of thousands of deaths. That is only because of human error or human mistakes or drunk driving. Or
if you look at that driverless car, so right now it is started that journey, but the prediction is 2030, the passenger vehicle market share will be 15% across the world. That is what they are estimating. Yeah. And that is what research is going on that.
Any parting notes, thoughts from all our esteemed panelists?
I already stated.
We've
AI
heard the
cannot
best
replace
interesting
mom.
stories.
That's what
I think so we can wrap it up right now. I think so. Really interesting points, anecdotes, and thoughts shared from our leaders. Round of applause for all of them.